friends, Jewel back with another super cool astrology video, and I wanted to talk about the composite aspect of the moon opposing Neptune. What happens when we see this? So the moon is our needs, our subjective needs, our what we want to feel secure, what we want to feel filled up, what we want to feel fed, and is our reminder of our mother and our past, and is very much the internal feeling part of ourself, our emotional mind. And then we've got Neptune, which is our concept of what is beautiful, what is surreal, what is spiritual, the mysteries of life, where we are unrealistic. It's things that we want to be so, but aren't necessarily so. Our fantasies represents Hollywood and all things that are unreal and illusory. And so when these two meet in opposition, it's very much going to be a romantic, feeling, sensitive connection. There's very, very, very often a feeling of a spiritual bond with the conjunction and the opposition. And when these two are no longer together, it doesn't really matter because they can still feel each other. There is an intuitive link with this one that is quite extraordinary, and that we don't even need to be together in order to be together with the conjunction and the opposition. We're just very much this, we're very spiritually bonded with this. And it really depends how this one goes on how Neptunian the two individuals that are making this composite aspect up are. If we have two highly Neptunian people, or even medium Neptunian people, and we find this in the composite chart, it's a pretty good clue that we're probably not seeing each other very realistically, or for what we actually have in front of us. You can have this one in the composite chart of two people that are more grounded, and generally that shows that this is a highly spiritual connection and a romantic connection, and you don't tend to get the difficulties associated with this opposition. It doesn't go one way all the time. You really have to look into the synastry to see what are the potentials here between the two people. So, under stress, when the relationship encounters hard times, basically when things get real or we encounter the harshness of life, is when and where this opposition will reveal itself to be either one that is describing not seeing each other clearly and seeing each other for what you wish each other to be, or describing a real true spiritual and romantic bond between the two people. So it's one that, you know, is always going to introduce a certain level of wishfulness between two people, or a certain level of feeling like, oh, I have found what I've been wishing for. And Neptune is funny in that it doesn't typically reveal itself until a certain amount of getting to know each other comes into play. It does have kind of an effect of Saturn as well, where Saturn can take a little while to show itself, because it's something that it comes in after we have gotten to a certain level of making things committed, or making things final, or making things legal. So those two planets, you know, Saturn and Neptune, do take a little while to kind of exert their power. The other planets do tend to show up a lot sooner in relationships. So unfortunately, with this particular opposition, sometimes it does take some living out of the relationship and having it kind of come down to ground level after a certain amount of time to really know how this opposition is going to work for you. But generally, you're going to be able to get a good sense by looking at the natal charts. Again, if we have two very Neptunian people and we see this one, the chances are pretty likely that it's going to reveal itself to be a more weakening aspect, based on not really acknowledging the other person as they are and loving them or feeling the way that we do about them, because they are representing a fantasy or a fulfillment of a fantasy that's coming from our own personal self. So I hope this was helpful. If it was, please subscribe to my channel. You can find me on the internet at truthandaspectastrology.com. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at truthandaspectastrology. And I will be back super soon with more super cool videos. Bye-bye.